Hey, thanks for checking out my channel and clicking on my face. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, and it's cold, so my hood is up. And this is a review of Spin Me Round. Yeah, I'm a blind film critic, and I watched this, actually video on demand. Um, yeah, I decided to go ahead and rent this one. Even though I have access to it because it's on AMC Plus, it does not have audio description, and uh, Allison Brie got my money. So I could have made another review where I just reviewed a film without audio description, and just stuck it to the man and said, screw you, AMC Plus. I'm going to keep reviewing your films because they don't have audio description. But iTunes was offering it with audio description. And I'm a big fan of Allison Brie, so yeah, I paid for a film I have access to, which I shouldn't have to do. That's like a completely different conversation we need to have, because it's like, why am I paying for your service if I have to seek accessibility elsewhere? You know, like, it's stupid that I had to pay for this, or that I chose to pay for this, or wanted to pay for this, or whatever. However you see the situation, it's dumb. I admit that it's dumb because I had access to it. And if I was cited, it would have been great, right? I just walk right in and I just go, oh, AMC Plus has it. Done. I'm already paying for it. Why would I do anything else, you know? So it kind of highlights the whole stupidity of what we have to go through, tracking accessibility down, and how sometimes we pay for a streaming service that has the title, but we have to go buy it or rent it or something somewhere else if we really want to see it. It's stupid. And I kind of feel like I made the wrong call on this movie too. I thought it would be funnier. Allison Brie plays a girl who works for this restaurant chain that sounds vaguely like Olive Garden. Just gonna put that out there. Obviously, they can't say Olive Garden, but she works for a restaurant, and they're having like a corporate retreat over in Italy, and her boss puts her up as being the one to go, and she gets this all expense paid trip out to Italy to this conference, and there are all these other people who work for the company that are out there, a bunch of different sort of characters. There's a whole bunch of comedians that pop up in this film, but Allison Brie is sort of the central character, the one that you're supposed to be paying attention to. And she, I think she has dreams of going and seeing Italy, and they're like, oh no, sorry, when you're here you gotta be doing this thing, but we do have planned outings. And I think that kind of deflates her a little bit, but she ends up sort of working her way around that a little bit and getting to see a little bit of Italy, and the film kind of evolves into something that it didn't start out as being, which is why I think some people found fascinating about it. I didn't find it fascinating. I wasn't fascinated by this movie itself. I'll tell you what I was fascinated by, and it wasn't even Allison Brie. I love Allison Brie. Glow deserved a final season. Fuck you, Netflix. And I mean, they were literally shooting. There is an actual completed episode of Glow, which we don't get to see. Just putting that out there. Yes. So I do love Allison Brie. And I watch films because she's in them. However, Molly Shannon was also in this. And let me tell you, sirs, ladies and gentlemen, Molly Shannon is perfection in this film. First of all, Molly Shannon has been perfection in a lot of things, and for some reason is not getting recognized for it. I love this part of her career. I kind of started noticing her more as a dramatic actress, or an actress with a lot of dramatic weight in her work when she did a film called The Year of the Dog, and she was terrific in that. And I fully believe that she deserved an Oscar nomination for Other People. So that's where my head's at. And she's the best thing about Divorce. If you ever saw Divorce, if you were like, I don't understand this Thomas Hayden Church, Sarah Jessica Parker show, and you just threw it away, you missed Molly Shannon and her character, her whole arc, and her performance. And it's really sad because she was terrific on that show. And she continues to sort of turn in these performances that they're really mature, they're realistic, they're kind of kooky, but there's something very hurt in them. There's something very emotional, but there's something very real there too. There's something very relatable. You feel like you know this person. It's something very uniquely Molly Shannon. She's bringing something that is very uniquely her into the role, but it's not like the crazy stuff that she used to do back on Saturday Night Live days. It's a different style of humor. And here, she sort of blends that sort of left field character that they've given her with where the film takes her character. And while it's a supporting performance, it definitely stood out to me. And it might even be on my top 10 list this year. I don't know. We're going to have to see. This is a performance that I'm definitely going to consider for my top 10 supporting actress performances. I didn't like the rest of the film that much. I didn't find it does evolve. It's one of those films that wants to be something at the beginning and then be something else at the end. But still, at some point, it's supposed to be funnier than it is. And the funniest thing that I found was there's a scene where they were asked the difference between these two sauces, and the person asking the question, I think, expected somebody to know the difference, and the answers that they were giving were hilarious. And that scene was great. That scene was when they're out in Italy and they're like, so what's the difference between these two? And everybody's just like, Anyway, I don't want to ruin that because it's really the only good scene in the film. But that made me chuckle. I thought that was funny. But the rest of it is, it just, I don't know. It kind of just disappointed me. I thought it could be funnier. With the talent that's in this film, there's no reason for it to not be funny. So, the audio description also kind of felt lightweight to me. Like, I came here for the audio description, and I got kind of what I would call TV sitcom audio description, which, I mean, they're in Italy, and they do go out in Italy. I'm not going to say that there isn't any attention to detail here, but it treats it sort of like it can't ever get a word in. A lot of times with those TV sitcoms where they're just sort of rapid fire dialogue back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And the narrator just is able to get in a word like Maya shrugs. And that's what you get. Like, that's your audio description. You know, it's like, cool. I mean, like, I noticed, like, we had transition scenes without the narrator being able to get in there. Like, we were in, like, a new place, and the narrator hadn't, like, come in with the, by the way, here's where we are. You know, like, let me describe this new place for you. It was just really difficult. Sometimes it was also the choices that the narrator was making. Like, when he does have like 5 seconds, it's like, that's the most important thing that you wanted to interject in this moment? Okay, cool. Maya shrugged. Cool. All right. I mean, I feel like I haven't heard you for 2 minutes, but awesome. Maya shrugged. And I maybe I'm being unfair. I don't know. It just, for this one didn't feel like I was just jumping up and down. The weird thing was that was the whole reason I paid for this, was to get the audio description. But at the end of the day, the audio description was just, it was all right. But it felt like the same kind of thing that I get on like The Conners. You know, Jackie walks into the room, and then like you don't hear it for a little while, because everybody's talking, and then you hear, you know, like something, you know, Ben sits down. It's like, okay. It just sort of, you get what you get, you know, you get these like little moments. But for film in Italy, where they actually do go out in Italy, she's out on a yacht for a while, and I don't know, there's just like some points in the film where I just kind of, I don't know, I just wanted more. Is that weird to say that? But yeah, I wasn't super hyped about the film. It's not bad. This film was not terrible. I had higher expectations based on the cast, and some other things. Molly Shannon kind of boosted this up a little bit for me. It's kind of like the grade went down, but then Molly Shannon booped one back up. So I gave it like a little bump back up because of Molly Shannon. So I'm gonna give Spin Me Round a C-. It still is a not recommend, but it's really hard for me to say watch this film just because of Molly Shannon. But it's also kind of sucks because I want to say watch this film because of Molly Shannon. Yeah, I don't know that the film outweighs Molly Shannon's performance, but I do think she was great in the film. So anyway, thanks for staying through this review. And if you are excited, and you have AMC Plus, you can just watch this. Good for you. Congratulations on that. I used to be there. It was awesome. I loved it. I loved it, just being able to just not have to think about things and be like, I can just watch this now. I don't have to think about audio description. That's why I'm here. It's why I talk about audio description all the time. It's just try to advocate, because I believe we deserve more than what we're getting. So, having been on both sides, this is a perfect example of why I talk so much. Yeah, so subscribe to my channel, please. And we'll continue this conversation about audio description. I also have a website, macthemovieguy.com. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. You can follow me on Twitter at macthemovieguy. You can go to theadna.org, that's the ADNA.org, and you can look up your favorite movies and television shows, and you can see who is doing the narration for them. That's it for me today. I am going to watch something else and review it, and see you on the other side.